Welcome to Confessions of Being Fabulous with Priscilya Hawkes, where we live, we learn, we grow. Today, I'm really excited about this guest and happy 2025. It's unfortunate that this is my first interview since 2025, but it's been an interesting start of the year. But you're going to be excited about everything that's coming forth today. So you're going to forgive me for being absent for 2 months. You're going to forgive me. But today we have Minister Jazz, and she is going to talk to us about sisterhood sit-in. It's a really, really important movement happening all around the country. And I want her to share with you, one, because you need to know about it, but two, it's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit your mother. Frankly, it's going to benefit humanity. And she'll explain why, this particular species has benefited humanity. So without further ado, we're going to talk a little bit today about the movement, but I want to introduce Minister Jazz and just say welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for.
I appreciate you even believing in my fabulosity.
Listen, she's been fabulous. We had a little bit of footage that isn't officially a part of this interview, but we were just reminiscing on how we met. We met, long story short, back in 2013 at a conference that we went to in Baltimore, Maryland at the Gaylord Hotel. Gaylord Hotel, I think it's called. And that conference resulted in both of us joining a class, a membership or something of a woman who just blew us both away talking about branding. And before, today, that was really the extent of our interaction with each other. But what I will say is that I always felt like you took what was taught in that class, and down through the years, as I've watched your social media, I'm like, you've always lived your brand. Like, without me even knowing you're doing sisterhood sit-in right now, I'm like, of course, you would be doing sisterhood sit-in. Like, so I just kudos to you for remaining true to who you are after all of these years. But let's jump into the interview. Explain a bit about sisterhood sit-in, but before you do, kind of the backstory as to how you arrived at a place where you wanted to launch this movement and share it with the world.
Yeah. So Sisterhood Sit-In is a organization, a social impact company. Like, we're not a 501c3.
Got it.
With intention, we are a social impact company.
Okay.
And it was designed out of 2020 because after the George Floyd uprisings, my sister, my actual blood sister, same mother, same father, opened a bookshop, and her and other women in Philadelphia was receiving hateful emails and threats. And it was just like, well, what do we do? Where do we turn?
Yeah.
Who is there to protect us? Who is there to support us? And so when my sister reached out to me, we decided to create a peaceful protest to show and advocate for not only her business, but all of the Black women-owned businesses in the area. In 2024, just last year, Delegate J. Cole of Virginia passed HJ8, which designated April as Black Women's History Month.
Wow.
99% of the population have no idea that this even happened. And I say it goes to show how important Black women's stories are in the media and how they're archived. And if we're not doing it, they're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So with Sisterhood Sit-In, we have been regionally creating these trolley tours where we would take riders to Black women-owned businesses around the city to support and create an economic injection during traditionally slow moments of the year.
Okay.
Well, in 2025, we're deciding to take that nationwide.
I love that.
We're going to be visiting 22 cities over 10 days. That's April 10th through April 19th. Creating an economic injection of potentially $25 million over those over those 10 days.
Okay.
And we're doing it in honor of Black Women's History Month. So this actually gets to be a few things. Not only is it an economic injection into Black women-owned businesses, but it is the first nationwide celebration of Black Women's History Month. Our intention is to make sure that everybody across this nation knows that April is Black Women's History Month. Support us, celebrate us, highlight us, tell our stories, make it count. And also, we get to call for digital sovereignty, understanding that it's in these digital streets that change can happen. Our ancestors left us the blueprint. They left us the ways to show that it's our love that is the protest.
Yeah.
So much, I was sharing with you before, so much of 2020 after George Floyd had the lot of us really tired. Like that was the ongoing thing that I heard, is just like, this is so much that I feel traumatized. And when that happens, that's also a trick, because it's like we've put all of this energy and the anger is not sustainable, people.
No.
Right? And so we put all this energy, our frustration, we put it out there, and then we're depleted. And then they can say, okay, well, now we're going to get to the messery.
Right.
And that has what brought us to 2025. Yeah. And so I said, let's create a sustainable movement. Let's take from the blueprint and the page book of our ancestors, making sure that we know that we've been here. This is our land. We have every right. We are etched into the Constitution. Yeah. We have been here and we ain't going nowhere. So we're rooted. So we're calling it Rooted 2025. Rooted, planted by the waters. We shall not be moved. We should not be rolled back. We shall be set back. We should not be pushed back. We are here. We are here. And so, you know,
can I touch you real quick? I want to ask you something about the sustainability. So it's an interesting observation, because this is commentary that has come up before in other conversations around, you know, why is it that we're not built like our ancestors were built? And then my reply would probably be something like, well, I think we are, but I do think there's some decision making that has to occur for you to really like see through, you know, like even the idea of today's an economic blackout. Don't go to, and I won't say a name right now, but whatever, pick a name of a big box store and we all say, we're not going there. For some people, it's like a big deal. Like, oh, I cannot go there. How am I feed my family? So what is that? What do you feel is the difference that made it sustainable for our ancestors, for those, you know, that came before us? And then now here we are with more privileges, more rights, more things that we can do, and we complain. Is it that we're spoiled?
It's the combination of a lot of those things. Okay. So first of all, off bat, even though it seems like all of our ancestors was on board with the movements, with the civil rights and with the Black Power, not all of them were. That's not the case. Yeah. We are just seeing the stories of hindsight.
That's true. Yeah.
We're seeing the stories of hindsight. There were a lot of people that was just going along with the get along. They were very happy going to their own little section of the bus in their own little restaurant. So
they didn't want to make any noise.
Didn't want to make any waves. They were scared.
Yeah.
Just like back during Harriet Tubman's times, there was plenty of Black folks that was just as happy as they want to be on the plantation. And they was like, we're getting fed, we're getting housed. So understand that we see the stories of those that are movement makers. Those are the stories that are told.
Yeah,
okay?
That's a good point.
One. The next thing is that, yes, we are comfortable. We have been made to be comfortable. Like the whole point of the 80s was to trick us into thinking that we received the liberties that was granted, that they were saying was granted. So it was like, if it seems like there's nothing to fight against, then you won't fight.
Right. Yeah.
So they made the middle class and they highlighted this Black middle class. And so when you start receiving a little bit of something, you're like, you don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to cause
waves. You've never had anything before. And now you got a little bit of something.
So now you have a little
bit. So you like,
I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to interrupt it. And this is the only way you achieve it. You have to be Black excellence. You have to go to university. And so you're shunning the people that are different from that.
Yes.
And so all of those things created these divides that we're experiencing even within our communities. And the other thing is that if you look at statistics, faith-based operations have decreased over the years. People aren't believing in the same way that they believed before. But we are believers.
We're believers.
We are community makers. We are collective doers. And we are sharers. Our trajectory has brought us to the place where we have been individualized under the guise of connection, especially in these digital streets. So we think that we're so connected because we're part of a Facebook group that has 56K people in it, but you don't know anybody in that group.
Not one person.
Right? Like, and nobody,
not one conversation has been had.
But you in the group, though. But you in this group. So it's this pseudo connection that we're experiencing that has us confused, actually. Because it's like, it says that I have all of these friends. It says that I'm connected. I'm following all of these things, but the spirit is not in it because we didn't make it.
Right.
That's why it's not in it. And so that's why it's so important for us to start establishing our own platforms. And I'm not saying you go start your own platform on no. I started my own platform. I want to show you how to start your own platform. Like actual, factual, let's do the thing.
Let's do it.
Let's not talk about the thing. We don't, it doesn't matter what we need anymore. It's actually what matters is what we can walk into now.
And so with the idea of, you made a comment earlier about digitizing the sisterhood sit-in.
Yes.
Why was that important?
Okay.
Explain some of the challenges before it was like a digitized movement. Why was it important that you bring this to, I think I heard you say it, and I say this all the time, these online streets.
These digital streets.
These digital streets. Why was that important?
Every single thing that we experience is technical. Like almost every single, I mean, from the cameras that we're using to record this, everything, to the phones that we use, our social media, the way that our media comes from our televisions, the way they come, all of it has technical and digital components. The things that which we can't see, hallelujah, because that's faith. But
absolutely.
So it's all of these things that are happening that we cannot see, but these are the places in which they're operating. And when everything that we exist inside of, but we don't know where the walls are, we didn't create the walls, now we're lost inside of these worlds. And so it's really important to educate how to, so I didn't know if I shared with you, like I code. I'm a full stack developer.
Oh, okay.
And I learned to code because I wanted to code for the culture. Because I'm just like, there's only 2% of African American women that are in the tech industry, and not even all of us know how to code. And so it's just like, if we're not out there being the ones that are creating the spaces, then there's not the spaces for us to feel safe to go to.
Very true.
You know, so that's why the digital component of this movement was important. In addition to the places that we have that are on the ground can't fill the capacity of things that are coming. So you have a big thing like a big Target or Walmart, and they can take a whole bunch of people buying something, and they have the operations to be able to ship all of these things out. We don't have those setups. So we need to create a way and be strategic about how can we get dollars into people's pockets, even if they don't have the capacity in person, or the resources and the shipments, and like how can we do this for them and with them? You know, and so that's how Rooted came about. It was all about thinking strategically across the board about the things that we need, from education to health and wellness to political power, all of these things, and concentrating in a time where we all can focus on it together, because that's what's necessary right now.
And I think, so one of the other things I'm really excited about as you explain what you're going to be doing, what the teams are going to be doing, is just awareness. Because I said years ago, I was looking to buy, I think, a couch at that time. And so I asked around, I'm like, hey, do you know any Black-owned furniture stores? At the time I was living in Harlem, nobody knew of any Black-owned furniture stores. So I ended up finding somebody that was in the Bronx, but they really weren't Black-owned. They weren't, they weren't African American, or even like, I'm from Africa and now I moved here. It was, I'm like, no, like Black owned, and it wasn't that. And I was aggressively looking. So this wasn't just like
passively.
I was aggressively, and I'm like, wow, they're really not here. And I think there maybe used to be one, if I'm not mistaken, in Harlem. That was before my time. I didn't grow up there, but they didn't exist. So it's one of those things where I do hear stories like that often, where we're looking, you know, I would support a Black-owned business. I would go to, you know, such and such a place and put my money over there, but where are they in my community? So I love the idea of digitizing, yes, but just awareness. And I'm hoping that because this is now going to become a digital movement, that will create awareness locally and regionally. Like you'll see, like, oh, okay, I have somewhere to go, you know, with respect to being a consumer of these types of items or services or whatever.
And that's why the city to city component is important, because we're going to highlight each city one day at a time, some of the big cities on the 2 Saturdays. But being that we're targeting and looking at it from like a city to city trajectory, then you know what's happening in your neck of the woods, but everybody else knows what's happening in your neck of the woods too. And that's important because so many times we don't understand the cross cultures that is experiencing across Black America. We think that because we're Black and this is what's happening in my city, that that's how it's being Black in Alabama. But in actuality, they have no idea how your culture is existing in your place. So then when we're voting, we're not voting in the same interest and things like that, and we might be voting against each other's interests. So that's why we need to cross the nation, come together and highlight each other's businesses. I'm also hoping that companies that have, so for instance, if there is a Black furniture owned company someplace and there's a Black furniture owned company in another city, that they can join together and create some conglomerates, because that is the other way that we're going to be able to grow. We are so siloed and individualized that we cannot do that together. It's not sustainable. Black people are only 13% of the nation, Black women only 7%. We cannot do it alone.
By ourselves. We
cannot do it alone. Our dollars, yes, it's a lot of economic power. Yes, it is. But not really. When you think about 7% of a whole entire nation, the numbers is tricky.
Explain that, because most people, I feel like a lot of people would disagree with that because we're such consumers.
You would think so.
And we would, you know, arguably, people have said it for years, be able to do X, Y, and Z if we would just put our money together. So explain your position.
Well, you just said it. If we put our money together. So it's not a coordinated enough effort. Like you just said, how people are like, oh,
where do I go?
I still have to go here and I still have to go there. It needs to be a very, very coordinated effort, not just a hashtag. Not just, and okay, I think that I'm going to do this. Not just a day. The movements were sustainable over a long period of time. They showed up to those lunch counters day after day after day after day. Time as that store open, they were sitting in. So we need to occupy. We need to show up. The boycotting was effective back then because you had small businesses and you had people that lived in areas that always shopped at those businesses. And then they said, we're not going to shop there. But if we are working and talking about a digital, like these huge conglomerates, like, okay, we don't shop there. The rest of the whole entire nation can, because they're doing it digitally. So we really need to be mindful. And then they're going to report, oh, Target stock is down this way. But when you don't understand numbers, those things seem like a lot. $12 million is nothing. Just dropping the bucket.
Drop in the bucket. These companies are worth billions.
And then we have
billions with a B.
Billions with a B, right? So to put in perspective, 1 million is 11 days, 1 billion is 33 years.
Wow.
So thank you. Put that into perspective. A lot of people don't understand the numbers. And so when we understand the numbers, we'll realize that the impact that we are claiming that we have is, again, one of those pseudo things that keeps us feeling like we're doing something and we're really not having an impact. Or if we were, we would have felt it back in 2020 when we started doing these things.
With that being said, though, is the message then, because I feel like the message is coming from the right place. The message of, well, if we would just come together, I endorse that message. I do feel like let's come together. But should the message be, let's do it in a more intentional and coordinated way?
100%.
And not, right.
Intentional, coordinated, strategic. So that means that people have to sit down and think about the long term
and do it together.
Just the interim and doing it together.
Because I feel like all the examples that you just gave, the boycotting, and it also worked, in my opinion, because you were really looking to one, maybe 2 different groups, but everybody was on the same page and committed to this person is going to be the chair of this, and the movement being what it was, it was a movement.
Right.
There weren't a bunch of mini movements happening. And I do feel like with social media now, everybody can be a star, everybody can be a celebrity, everybody can have a platform. And on the one hand, that's good. But on the other hand, when we're talking about this kind of stuff, I do feel like a time is going to come where somebody is going to have to say, okay, I'm not going to be the leader here because this person is better. Right. But we're all working towards the same goal.
And I want to be intentional with the word better, effective. Like we want to start looking at things and strategies from the long term that are actually going to be effective in the long term.
Yeah.
That's going to actually have impact. So that's why even with Rooted, we're making sure that we have researchers that come in to calculate the impact, because if something's off, we want to be able to say, we measured that and we're adjusting that. So for the next iteration, it's better.
Yeah.
These are the things that our sisters and brothers of the Caucasian persuasion do when they create and when they do business. You know what I mean? It's just a part of business. Like, you don't start a business without having the research component.
Right.
But all the time, it's just like, oh, what does it feel like in my gut? You know, it's just like, your gut could be a little off, sis. So we want to make sure that we are, creating the full gambit and the whole picture that's necessary so that we can create sustainable movements that work, that are actually calculatable and have impact.
Okay. So what I love about what you said, Sisterhood Sit-In, you have a specific goal of $25 million. Let's dig into that a little bit. So is the goal that after having done this over the course of these 10 days, $25 million will have gone from my pocket into these different businesses that I've selected across the country?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so with that, where are we? We had 26 minutes. It's really important to me that people understand how they can be involved. One. Two, if you feel like you are the business owner that somebody needs to come and visit, we want to make sure they understand how they can be made known to you and your team. And let's start by, I guess, just kind of introducing, what does it look like exactly? So if I say, now let's pretend I'm the person that wants to sit in on one of these tours. What does it look like? Digitally speaking.
Okay.
Digitally speaking.
Okay.
And actually, you can give a quick about the in-person. I keep forgetting we talked about some of this before the official interview, but digitally speaking, let's get to that. But before you do, explain kind of how it started and what an actual tour looked like, and then jump into digitally so that people understand, like, okay, now it's online and you can be involved.
Right. So the two-prong approach is so that the people online can actually have a physical connection. It's a psychology. You know what I mean? A lot of times when things are digital, it doesn't feel real. But if we're following something that's on the ground, then we can place our attentions and say, okay, we are in this city because this is where the bus is. You know what I mean? So on the ground, we'll have a 56-passenger bus that will create a Black woman celebration experience. So from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., you will travel. Each city will be different based on what's necessary and what's available in that city. But for instance, you will start your morning with a brunch and a gathering. You might gather at a local church or community center. Park your car. If you're in Brooklyn, you ain't parking your car. But
you catch the train. Get on that train.
Go down to Reparation Plaza and get on the bus. But so you park your car, you get on the bus, you have your snack, you have your onboard entertainment. Whoever it is, will be partners. I can't say partners' names just yet.
Still finalizing.
Still finalizing things. But imagine having like a comedian or whatever getting on the bus, starting your day off, you having like this really joyful, experience as you pull off. You go to say the museum, the local Black own museum, and you're learning, what's going on there. You participate in like maybe some line dancing that happens in that area. You get to go to a spa that is Black owned, and they have like a doodle mini treatment for the day. You go to a Black owned bookstore, you walk around. Again, you might have people that are there that are educators that are, teaching about the history and what's going on. And then you go to the area where traditionally Black women owned businesses are and where they've been, and you shop with them. The online component means that we're calling for at least 100,000 people to commit to spending $20 over the 10 days. And if as you spend the $20 over the 10 days, 90% of the proceeds of what happened for each particular business over those 10 days will be given back to the 5 featured businesses that we have that'll be on the ground. Now, those are just the ones that are on the ground. All of the businesses in that particular city need to be highlighted during that time. If you're a Black woman-owned business, We want to hear from you. We want you to be featured on the website. We want you to get the shout out that's going to happen in the morning. We want you to send in your 1-minute commercials so that so people could get to know who you are, so that they can go through, because we're wanting to interrupt the algorithm. Right now, we're starving for attention, and we're doing all kind of weird things for attention. And we're spending a lot of money for attention, so that we can break through the algorithms. And we cannot compete with the thousands of dollars that are put into advertising budgets. But this is an opportunity that that everybody is going to be paying attention to your city. Highlight, amplify, show up. You know what I mean? So even, and I'm telling people this, use that day, use this opportunity to create an event in your city, where it's like this. I'm not officially a part of Rooted, but I'm a part of Rooted, and I believe in the movement.
Almost like tailgating. Yes. Right.
Absolutely. This is happening.
There's all of these mini tailgates
create something so that your business can be highlighted. Invite people to come to your store. Invite people to come to your, like if you do teach classes, whatever it is that you do, use the attention of that day, because you're going to have people online that are donating and wanting to know what's happening and sending money your way. And it's not just us, it's us and our allies. We have so many allies. We have so many, y'all. I have never seen so many quiet allies in my life. When I tell you, people are like, I can't put my name on the thing, but I'll make sure that I donate. Like it's so indicative of our culture. But know that they're out there. They're out there. We would love for them to be loud and proud, but we'll be loud and proud for them.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Because like Nina Simone said, we have to know that as Black people, we are the most beautiful people on the planet. I love the most beautiful she said, and they have to know that. And so as we know that, and as we go day to day, so that's how the digital component and the in-person component exist. But I want to also talk about the Black Woman Revival, because we're using these 10 days in order to come together, to fellowship, to worship across denomination. It's not about your denomination. It's really about your spirit, and knowing that this is the opportunity for you to be prayed for, to be spoken over, to be, uplifted, to be, encouraged, to be, just amplified, whatever it is that you need. Take the advantage of that, because we need it right now. Absolutely. We need that upliftment right now, so that we can create the sustainability to move forward. Over these 10 days. And we're going to end with a 90-day action plan that we'll be able to continue moving forward. Like, what are the next steps that we have to do in order to keep going? We have the petition that's going to be one of the actions.
And this is online as well, Black Woman Revival.
Yes.
This is online.
So it will be online and in person. So we're identifying. So if you have a congregation that you like, I want to host one of the revival nights, you let us know. You can be an unofficial or an official official part of Rooted, where you're hosting a Black Woman Revival night. Like, just let us know, so that we can send people that are in that city to your city. The itinerary will be online, so people will know what city. So some people might want to travel city to city. Like, I didn't get enough last night. I want to go from Virginia Beach to Baltimore. I need more. And I imagine that will happen. People will get to join up in different cities. And this is not just a one-time wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We're building this intentionally so that we can have it go on and on and on and be sustainable. We did the Sisterhood Sit and Trolley Tours for 4 years. We want to do this for 14, moving into the future to 40, whatever it is. We get to say, this is how we celebrate Black Women's History Month. We know that every year we'll be rooted in whatever it is, and and stay with the times and understanding what is it that we need to do. It might not be an economic injection next time. It might be like a total mental health rebound that we all need to travel. Like, whatever it is, but we'll decide that together. And that's one of the important components that I was sharing with you before, that this is a together thing. This is not, Minista Jazz's movement. This is not Minista Jazz's event. This is a blueprint and the layout for all of us to be able to all hands on deck, make it happen for ourselves, because we need it.
Yeah, we absolutely need it. And I love that, like I said, when we first started speaking, I gave her kudos for the idea. She's like, no, like, this is all God. Agree with that. But I believe that in a time such as now, it's really important to have courageous people. It's important to have people that just are not scared. They're not concerned about, well, what is this person going to think, or what is this group over here going to think? How are they going to look at me? And we need people that are just ready to go, that are just ready to move. And I feel like you're doing it. Like, you're literally making a declaration. Black women matter. And let me show you how that looks. Let me show you what that looks like. And that's so important.
Yeah.
That's so
I want
important.
to say this, though. I'm afraid.
Are you?
I am so afraid.
I wouldn't know it. Let's think about that. And that actually, that's a bar.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. Because the reality is, me too, sis. Like, a lot of us are, right? A lot of us are.
Like,
but
do not let it go down in history that I was like not afraid.
Right.
But I am courageous.
Yes.
And courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Yes.
And so that's what happens to me every single morning. I join my prayer call, and I listen to all the prayers, and I soak them in, and I establish my intention and belief for the day.
Yes.
And I say, I can't
gotta get your soul ready.
And I say every
ready.
day, God would not have brought me this far to leave me.
Yes.
God would not have given me this vision to take it away from us. God knows what it is that we need right now. And I just keep planning myself. I am rooted in my own beliefs.
Yes.
And that's how I do it. But I am so afraid.
Yeah.
You know, like, people attack people that have big ideas and big dreams.
That is
people
true.
come for you. Like, you know, my publicist, she was just like, do you have security? Do you have, like, and I was just like, oh,
yeah. And the fact that I have to think about that is now another fear.
Thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't know what the world is going to do with this in their hands, and how many people are going to try to dissect it and try to look for, oh, you only raised 23 million, and then all of the ways in which they try to make us smaller than we are. That's why one of the things I said with the tickets, you have to get a ticket. You get a ticket because it represents a body. That is the way that the March on Washington.
It represents us showing up.
It represents us showing up. So it's one ticket, one body. And so that way we can say, you know, you can't finagle when we say, no, this is how many tickets we have. You know what I mean? So you have to get a ticket. The tickets are absolutely free. In that, you're able to support by buying a ticket. You can, you know, contribute whatever it is that you want, so that the movement can continue to move and happen. Like, we have expenses, and you know, even though I'm one of those Black woman superwomen that people be talking about, who's like, oh my God, take your cape off, sis, and I will never. But
we want you to take it off every once in a while.
Every once in a while, I will never
recharge.
But I can recharge with my cape on, and so this is the thing. Like, my cape is what actually gives me the charge,
the energy. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
And so it's not about not having self-care. It's about understanding where my help comes from. And it's in the movement that I feel rejuvenated. When I stop, I stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done. And so I need to keep some sort of movement. When we breathe, it's still movement. You know what I mean? When we walk, that's movement. Our blood is constantly, we are moving people. Our earth is constantly moving. So there's no such thing as just stop.
Nothing is still in this universe.
Rest, indeed. Right? But don't stop. And that is the key. It's like, never just, my mommy always tells me, she's like, Jazzy, don't you stop. Don't stop. No matter what they say, you don't stop. You keep going. You keep going. And so just hearing that over and over and over, I'm a whole grown woman, and my mom still is just like, Jazzy, you can do it. You can. So having those people in your life is so important.
We all need that.
But yes, make sure you get a ticket, because that's how you are counted. That's how we know that you are in solidarity with us. That's how we know that you're standing up, and that's how I'm able to communicate with you. Once everything starts going, we're going to send the text messages out. We're going to send the emails, the daily announcements. So you know what actions we're taking. You know where to meet with the people. You know where the businesses are. Like, that's our way of communicating. So we're using the digital sphere to organize.
Okay. Let's talk logistics for a second, because now I want to get into people. They understand what this is. They understand the why behind it, if you will. We want you to get involved, right? We want you to get involved. Like I said before, if you are a business owner, if you want to actually do the sit-in, whether it's in person, digitally, both. So what does it look like? And going back to what you said about the one ticket, one body, would a person need a ticket to be a part of this, like kind of at large? Or let's say they do want to participate locally in Baltimore. and then they also want to participate in Philly. Do they get a second ticket?
Yes.
Or is it okay?
Yeah,
so for every way that you participate in every region, city, whatever, you would have a ticket.
Well, so there's one ticket, the log on level up ticket. Okay. And that ticket is saying you're a part of the digital sit-in. Okay. So that covers you on the digital end. That makes sure that you'll get all of the information of all of the digital actions that we'll be taking.
Got it. Okay.
It's city to city. If you want to ride the bus, you get a ticket. You have to get a ticket to ride the bus. Okay. And I imagine, like I said, it's only 50 tickets per city. Okay. So, like, I imagine that it'll be a hot commodity. Once people start learning about it, they're going to go really quickly. So, you know, they're actually online right now. Okay.
Is there an order the city where you want? Well, to your point, they might cut themselves off. They might cut themselves off, but assuming I don't know, tickets were lingering. Do you have a personal cutoff? Like, all right, by this date, we need to know who all is going to be on every bus in every city. Or
well, ideally, we would know that by the 5th of April. Okay, so that we can honestly, we need to vet. Because I want to make sure that the settings are safe for everybody.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So we will be vetting. Know that. Yeah, we'll be vetting and making sure that the people that are on the buses are coming with the greatest intentions in mind, shared intentions, and also we'll be looking at you as our on the ground ambassadors and advocates and influencers, right? So you'll be an instant influencer if you have a ticket, because now you get to be the one taking the pictures. You're showing us the history that you're experiencing, and we'll be learning that through your eyes digitally, because we'll be all tuning into you, your social media, your platforms. And you'll be giving us the images, you know what I mean? And so that we're learning through you and your video. So we want to make sure that the people understand that whole capacity. And then if they feel like, okay, I bought a ticket, but I'm really, you know how people are like, I'm just, you know, I'm a, I just want to experience it. And it's just like, that's amazing. I just want to, that's amazing. You can get in your car and ride behind the bus. But I need for the
I need you to get behind the buses, because we need people that's going to post.
We need people that are going to post and advocate and just be excited out loud and celebratory about being there and unapologetic about being in those cities.
That being said, what can the people expect? So if they go to the website right now, is that kind of understood that if you get this ticket, we want you, and I'm being funny, but I'm also being serious, because you do want people to basically show up like energetically in a certain way. So what can they expect when they go to the website? You know, the whole process of getting a ticket. And is it explained, or is it kind of inferred?
You know, I feel like it's inferred. It's not a direct ask to say you need to be an influencer. It's not that, because
it's not limiting, because we're not saying that you have to be an influencer.
Right, that's not what I'm saying. Anybody, so that's why it is. Right now, it's open for anybody, and we will. But we do have certain seats. Right. So we have like a VIP section in the front, and then like, so different levels in which you can engage on the bus. Okay. So that is there as well. And just knowing that I want people to understand this. All of the finances that are coming in are going right back out. Like everything is for the movement. I'm like, this is, you know, and because I'm saying that because a lot of the other movements in the past, they came for the people, and it was just like, where did this money go? So we're wanting to be 100% transparent, 100% understanding what the impact is that we're trying to create, and being able to, like, this is our finances, this is how much came in, this is how many people were served, this is how many. So we are trying to make this as transparent as possible, and because we are a business and not a 501c3, we can show you our receipts.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Not as many limitations.
Right. Exactly.
I love that. Talk a little bit about, because we are wrapping up, actually. We have to go, guys, because we got stuff to do. But I knew this was going to be one of those interviews where theoretically we could just keep talking. There you go. But I know you have your meeting coming up, and I got to get back on the road. But let's talk briefly. First, please give.
We have to talk about Nana.
We are. We can talk about Nana. But no, here's how I was going to end it. So I'm going to suggest, just briefly, to close out that part of it, give them the website and a quick call to action, however you want to say it. and then we're going to segue for about 5 minutes into something else, kind of unrelated, but to me still related.
It's so related.
Yeah, it's still so related. And we're going to talk about that, and then we'll close out. So let them know how to actually join the movement if they want to be a part of Sisterhood Sitting.
Rooted2025.com.
Okay. Easy enough.
Easy enough.
Rooted2025.com.
ROOTED 2025.com. And that is our landing page, our main page, where you will find information, inspiration, our movement song. We got a movement song.
Okay.
And you know, the impact, the cities, the ways to get the tickets, the media kit, ways to volunteer, like, so all of those things are online right now, and every single day, you know, make sure that you subscribe, because every single day it's being updated, and you don't want to miss anything. Because everything's moving so fast.
Love it. Yeah.
The reason why we cannot leave out Nana,
we can't leave out
because Nana is our movement matriarch.
Got it. Okay.
They're like, who is Nana?
Who is Nana? So at this time, this is the segment where we talk about Nana. Go.
Nana is our movement matriarch, and Nana is an AI that I designed. One, first and foremost, because we need representation in tech.
Yes.
Nana has a whole face, a whole voice. You can call her on the phone. She has a whole number. And you talk to Nana.
It sounds like your Nana.
And it sounds like somebody's Nana. It sounds like my Nana. But, you know, Nana will pray for you. She will tell you where the businesses are. She'll tell you why this is important. She'll tell you about the 1960s and what was going on with the leaders there. She'll call out names of people that are important, that were important in history. Wow. She is the connection between our ancestry and our future. And so Nana AI is such an important part of this, because we need to understand how we can use tech for not just telling it what to do, but also helping us with our spiritual and our emotional legacies that we're creating. And Nana is going to be the wisdom keeper and holding that for us. Nana. And so Nana AI.
That's so, isn't that amazing? It's so special, because that tool. So I remember one time I was typing in something, and you know, there's autocorrect on the iPhone, on all of these phones, autocorrect. And I forget the word. I wanted to put Black woman. I don't remember what the conversation was about, whatever. I wanted to put Black woman. And do you know, this technology, for whatever reason, it suggested everything but Black. It was like blank, blanket, blue, like, and I thought that was so strange. I'm like, but I want to put Black woman. And it was just weird to me that it wouldn't allow me to do that. Or it might have been the other way around, where I had written Black and then woman wouldn't come up. I think that's what it was. But all of that to say, I remember it wasn't like a huge deal, but it raised a question in my mind, like, AI really isn't like made with us being in the room and in the spaces. So it would make sense that autocorrect, if I tried to do anything else, it might just come right up. But the minute I try to do something and it pertains to us, it just may not be there. It's not, you know, it wasn't trained, because these, you know, they're trained by other humans. Yeah, they're trained by,
you know, trained by us. But if our stories aren't being told to it,
we're not in there. Right. We're not in there. So that's why this idea is so revolutionary. And on a side note, and this isn't even about putting money in my pocket, we need to talk, because I'm a business attorney. So some of this stuff, I don't know if you have it trademarked or whatever. That's a whole different conversation. But
so it is the Much Different AI family, and Nana is the matriarch of the Much Different AI family. You've met Jerome.
Yes, that was the original one that I knew about.
He's the first son of the Much Different AI family. He's all about Black men's mental health and hip hop. And so
I love that.
Being able to design AI, and not just like the bots, but like real conversational AI with us in mind, with our voices and inflections and thoughts and feelings and emotions. And
that means something.
It means a lot. And so creating cultural resonant AI will show us that, you know, again, we've been here. And we can use technology to change the world.
Wow. Guys, this is one of those interviews that could actually go on and on and on. But because we do have lives and we have to go, we're going to have to end it here. But please, please, please go to rooted2025.com, get involved, join the movement. Nana AI. So how do they engage with that specifically? I know there's a number. I called it, you literally do hear the voice of a Nana and you can spark up a conversation. When you first told me about Jerome, same thing. I had a conversation with Jerome. I think I asked Jerome a question about something that was going on at the time, and it was like a whole vibe. Like I felt like I know a Jerome. I know a couple of Jeromes. I felt like I was talking to one of those Jeromes. So you really have to experience it to appreciate like what she's talking about. But rooted2025.com, that's for the movement. If somebody wants to interact specifically with Nana, would they go to that website also to do so, or do they have
Nana
to go?
Nana is a bit more sacred.
Okay.
So Nana will be accessible to the people that are on the ground.
Got it.
So they will be able to get Nana's number.
Okay.
And Nana will have a number for each city that we're in.
That. Okay.
And she will be customized with the things for that particular city.
Okay.
And so if you get on the bus, you will also be
experiencing
Nana. You also have Nana as one of your tour guides on the ground.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You guys have to get involved. So go to rooted2025.com. As of right now, as you just heard, all of the information is there. Cities are currently posted, the itinerary or whatever have you, information you may have is there.
Our cities, our donors, so many people have been supporting, and so they're naming, so join that ticker tape that goes across with your name on it.
As a reminder, as she stated, this is going to be, maybe it's new to me, it's new to us, but she's been doing this for the past 4 years, but she's been doing it in certain regions, and this is now, bringing it nationwide so that there can be this awareness of what it is, and then also the importance, and then last but definitely not least, the economic impact that it's going to make on the businesses. So definitely check it out. Any parting words before we go? I mean, you've covered so much, and I feel like there's so much more we can share.
What I would love to leave with everyone is what I started with, is that our love is the protest.
Yeah,
this is a protest, and when we tend to think of the word protest, understanding that the word protest means a declaration, and so we get to declare that our love is what's going to bring us together, and it's what's going to have us overcome, and it's what's going to have us be rooted, planted, still, and be able to make it through this challenging time. It's the love. Our love is the protest this time.
I love that. I'm not even going to add other words. I wish you lots of fun, laughter, abundance in your life. Peace.